Hi, welcome to another CVA Nordic practice. This is Adam Masterman, and today we're going to be talking about skating. This actually is me on the video right now. This is one of the things that I like to do in practices when we have the video out is I like to get on there myself. A couple of reasons. One is I like to show my athletes that it's an ongoing process, even though I certainly am not jumping in a lot of races this year. I have technical problems that I need to look at and work on. And also, when we're skiing a lot, they're seeing me ski and they're skiing with me, and so, if I do things well, hopefully they can pick that up. But, sort of more importantly, things that I'm doing poorly, I think, might be rubbing off on them, and so it's important to me to get a look at myself and see what it is that I personally need to work on. In general, from looking at these clips, I'm just feeling a little stiff with the skiing, and I'd like to be a little more dynamic, especially in the upper body. I'd like to come up a little bit higher with the poles, and I'd like to come into the ground a little bit harder. We've been looking at Pierre Ellefson for classic and skating, and also been looking at Bjorndalen, the biathlete, for skating. And in general, when I compare, I'm not too unhappy with body positions, but I'm feeling like a sort of stiff version of that, and I feel like they're a lot more dynamic. Anyway, here comes our youngest skier. This is Lena. Lena is 10. And as you can see, for a 10-year-old, she really has fantastic skating technique. Especially, she doesn't even really get to skate too often, but she really has figured it out at a very early age. Here she's going up through our little training section, and you can see I've got some slow-mo on here, but you can see she really does a really good job with the V1. She seems to we got a little bit of slow-mo, and you can see that the timing is pretty much exactly right. You can see the skis and the pole hit the ground just at the right time. She's got a good switch. She's got a good weight shift. So really, I'm afraid I can't say too much critically about Lena here. We're working on balance, like we all need to, and we're working on pace, slowing it down a little bit so we can ski longer. But otherwise, she's really right on track. This is Ike. I saw a lot of Ike in the classic video. See a lot more of him here in the skate video. He really likes to work on his technique, so when the camera comes out, Ike is always front and center. You can see he's got I think Ike is very dynamic in the lower body when he skates. He competes better, a little bit better at skating, and feels a little bit more confident. The thing I'm noticing most on these videos is there's a lot more that we could do with the upper body. We can see right away that there's a little bit of an A-frame going with the poling, so that when the poles hit the snow, they're closer together at the hands and the basket, so it makes kind of an A shape. And there are a lot of possible reasons for that to be happening. I think with Ike, what's going on is that the hands are just not coming up far enough in front. He's sort of throwing them into the snow a little bit too early. And so what I'd like is him to really come up very deliberately in the front and then kind of slam them down and really try to coordinate the arm push with the upper body compression and bringing the weight over them. Here we can see it in the slow-mo. We're really only coming up about to the chest, and so ideally this is that's slightly an uphill section. But he's V2ing. I'd like to see those hands up by the eyes. That was one of the things we noticed with our Per Ellefson video was the hands coming up to the eyes. Here we have Sadie James, and Sadie is ripping right along. I think this is the only video we've managed to pin her down with this year. Sadie competes a little bit better in classic, and so we've been looking at the skating and trying to figure out how to sort of bring that up. It looks very strong here. You can see she's very athletic, very dynamic. The thing that she's really working on is that she's tending to leave the weight right in the middle. It's kind of very unusual. She actually gets a little bit more dynamic weight shift side to side in classic than she does in skating. You can see that her weight's staying right in the middle, and so it's very hard for her to stay on a ski for very long, and that ski is kind of always on edge, and so it's very inefficient. So we're working on the long glide stuff, and that's really helping her. Here we have Trent. Trent is looking very good with skating. He very much prefers to be skating, and this is looking pretty strong here. I think what we ended up working with today was try to open up the hips a little bit. I felt like the lower body looked a little knock-kneed. I think we have a slow-mo section coming up, and so it felt a little like the legs were a little straight, and the knees were really right there. Yeah, you can see a little bit closer together, and so I just wanted to give him that good strong posture in the lower body. So we played around a bit with opening up the hips, toes out and heels in, and knees out, and so once we have that nice open position, we can really focus on using our legs as really sort of dynamic levers to go back and forth when we're on snow. All right, here is Shelby. Shelby is a sophomore this year. She's just been having some really amazing competitions. Shelby is a little bit stronger in classic this year, so we've been looking a little bit more at skating in our time together. Here in this section, what I'm seeing a little bit, this is kind of a minor quirk that we need to work on. She's got a little bit twist in the upper body. You can see that shoulder kind of coming out a little bit early, and I think it keeps her her poling from being very symmetrical and sort of robs her a little bit of the core strength that should go into the poling. Here what you're seeing is I felt like the hands were coming way too short, so we did a little exercise here. We're really bringing the hands up very high, and that's kind of the first step. And she's doing it very well here. She's bringing those hands up very high. From here, where we need to go is we need to make it, less arms and get a little more of the upper body coming down onto it. We can see it here. This is like a couple weeks later. The hands have dropped down a little bit, but mostly what Shelby was noticing watching this was very straight-legged. We really need some more angles. We need to angulate the arms, and especially we need to angulate the legs. We need to come through with sharp knees and use those strong muscles. She's standing very, very upright and not really utilizing that core strength the way she could. So, and here's our final skier. This is Emma again. Emma is. This is an earlier clip, and we've actually sort of addressed some of these problems, but what we're seeing pretty clearly right here is that we're not getting out of the upper body what we should be getting. Emma is very strong and dynamic in the upper body, and so it's very important for her to be using that to her fullest advantage. And we can see here the hands aren't really coming up super high, coming up about to her chin. They could come up a little bit higher, but sort of more importantly is that her weight's a little bit back, and her core strength is doing nothing for her. She's really relying solely on her triceps and her lats. It's really just all arm. She's not compressing onto them at all, and so we work on been working on different ways to get the weight forward, starting in the double pull and different things like that. So anyway, that was our skating practice, or again, this was a series of practices put together. Some of the challenges that we're all facing, and some of the things that we're trying to do to correct them.